Real style is about much more than fashion. Real style starts with being comfortable in your own skin. Let's take a journey inside style with your host, style expert, George Worrell.
Welcome to Inside Style. I'm your host, George Worrell, and I am excited to welcome back to our show, Councilmember Robert White. Robert White, this is an open door policy for you to come here. Not only are you one of the nicest council member and men in Washington, but you are one of the stylists, my brother.
Coming from you, that means a lot.
I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with us again. Please catch us up. I know that, you are the council member at large. What have you been doing? What's new? Catch us up.
Yeah, well, it has been a phenomenally busy time. Just over a year ago, I surprised everybody in the city by running for Congress. Folks thought I was going to run for mayor, but I tell people, when God tells you to pivot, you pivot and don't look back. That is where I need to be right now. That's where I best serve the city. So it's made for a full sprint the entire year, but we've come through the primary over the summer. I've been working with my council team on more housing legislation for the fall as we wrap up my council career. And then I'm already working to transition to Congress. I'm meeting with members of Congress, building citywide and national coalitions, and launched a pretty big initiative yesterday. So it's been a busy summer. And I've been a dad. So I've been to Disneyland and to the beach this summer.
Nice. What was the deciding factor for you? I know, speaking with your family, what was it that was inside of you to say, this is where the direction I want to go for Congress? What was that? What was that like for you?
So it caught me off guard, the decision. The final part was when Trump sent troops into D.C. and then looking at, before that, all of the institutions he's taken over, and I realized this guy has a plan to take over D.C., and I can't sit here and hope for the best. I need to go to where the fight is, and that fight for protecting D.C.'s home rule is in Congress. So that was the decision, is one I believe in, and I think residents will see over the next couple of years why it was so important that I go in that direction.
Did it help you at all that you had been working for the current Congresswoman for a long period of time?
Yes, indeed. The great Eleanor Holmes Norton, our warrior on the Hill. It did help a lot because people right now, and you and I had this conversation earlier, people are looking to see progress, or at least for the hope of progress. And a seat without a vote on the House floor means you really got to know how to use that seat on day one. Because after law school, I worked for her as her legislative counsel. I've seen some of the strategies that worked. I've seen some of the strategies that haven't worked. And I understand the power that she has created in that seat. And so now I get to build on top of it instead of trying to figure it out as I go. And I think voters realize we need somebody who can sprint on day one.
What is the armor that you think one should have in political life and in life in general? Because there are going to be arrows, or, should he do it this way? Why is he running? Is he home? What is that armor that you think someone should have in the position that you're in, or either just going to work every day? We see it when people go to work. Oh, I don't like her. Or what does she do? What is that armor that you have, that you developed, that you can pass on to us, that sustains you?
That's a phenomenal question. So one I think is to be steeped in faith, something greater than you, whatever that is for you. For me, it's God, right? And I believe that my work is a ministry if it's done right. And so I try to stay steeped in that faith. And sometimes it's just praying to help me figure out the next step or catch me if I fall. The second is self-authorization, because when we are looking to other people to affirm us, then we're not working in the best interest of the people who elected us, right? That has to be all the affirmation we need. And so self-authorization, no matter what you're doing in life, you got to know that you're good enough. And it took me a long time in life to get there. The last thing for me, my armor is my family. My dad is the one that steeped me in faith. My aunties and uncles wrapped around me as I was coming through. And now my wife and my two little girls keep me sturdy and grounded every day. In fact, they keep me very grounded. My little girls are 10 and 7, they'll let me know, we don't think you're that great, brother. You better keep your game up. So I'm very lucky to have them.
How is it to be in partnership with your wife and your kids, but the partnership that's between you and your wife? I think you've celebrated, was it 30 years?
13 years.
13 years.
Yes.
How was that partnership for you?
Yeah.
How does that, you know what I mean? Like that, you know.
It's incredible. My wife and I were friends before we dated, and we are still friends, and so that helps. The other important piece of the partnership, and I met recently with Congressman Don Beyer and his wife, and they reminded me of me and my wife. Like, they kind of made inside jokes at each other. You know, they took the meeting with me together. She is somebody I can bring my toughest problems to, my insecurities to, and I know she's going to have my back all day. Like, she is Mama Bear, so she ain't playing when it comes to me. And it is just, I wouldn't be here without her, no question.
And the landscape.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people who are not directly in it can kind of see from afar about what it really is that's really going on, that maybe you do see, but because so many things are going on that you've not really seen.
Very much.
Yeah.
I, as one of the ways I operate as a leader is I hire really talented people so that I don't have to be in the weeds, because like you said, the landscape is different. So if they get dragged down in the weeds, then I can help see clear, but they always know the details I don't know. And so same with my wife, right? She's not in the day-to-day with me, and so it often gives her a clear perspective, and she can advise me through some of the toughest situations.
One of the other things that I like that is very special is that you are involved in returning citizens and people who are restarting their lives. I am one of those people, 31 years sober, what was it, August 17th,
Wow.
you know? And when one is looking for that chance again, and then there's somebody there that says, you know, I'm going to give you that chance. What are your feelings about that? That said, you know, if you're qualified and you have the drive, come on aboard.
That is it. So I one of the things I've learned in my leadership journey is don't hire people for experience. Hire them for ability, right? You could have done something for a decade. Doesn't mean you're ever good at it, right? But when you hire somebody because you know they can do what you envision, that's going to change your world. And with returning citizens, often people look at this one mark in their entire life story and judge their entire future potential on that and don't give them a chance. And that is just profoundly unfair, because honestly, the difference between being a returning citizen and not for most of us is just getting caught, right? Like, that's it, right?
Exactly.
Like, I lived a whole life, let me tell you. So there are times where, thank God, somebody was looking out for me. And I've seen it, with my brother. Most people know my brother's a returning citizen, just a phenomenal guy, one of the kindest people you would ever meet. I have somebody on my team who spent well over a decade incarcerated. But I gotta tell you, one of the hardest working, smartest people, loyal people you would ever meet. And so, with returning citizens, sometimes we just gotta nudge that door open. They're gonna do the rest of it.
You've used the word leader a couple of times. How does one know that they're a leader?
One knows that they're a leader because they have invested in their leadership, right? There's a quote that I've heard that I love. It says, leaders aren't born, they're made. And that's what it is. You have got to decide, I want to be a better person. I want to be a better leader. Understand what that means, and then go learn. And so I have actively learned about leadership because I want to be a better leader. I want to make sure as I'm climbing, other people are climbing with me. I can't maximize my potential if I don't have people next to me maximizing their potential. And so my leadership journey for me is one of the most important things I've ever done professionally. It just kind of stumbled into it. I said one day, I think I can do better than I'm doing, right? I've hired these really smart people, but now I need to figure out how to help them grow too. And in trying to figure out how to help my team grow, it grew me a lot.
And it evolves? Does it evolve for you how you lead, what you think is important, what's not important, what's, just going forward. Does that evolve for you or for potential leaders or people that are leading out there? Because it's hard, because the buck stops with you.
Yeah.
Like whatever happens in your office, it's still coming to you.
That is right. So it does evolve, right? And the best place to start with a leadership journey is whatever problem is in front of you right now, whether you have to talk to a colleague and you don't know how, or your boss is wilding out and you don't know what to do about it, or you're the boss but you've got some issues in your office. There's no problem on earth that other people haven't had and studied. And so shame on you if you don't study it. The other thing about my leadership journey is I see it in seasons. There are some periods of time where I am deeply invested in the learning, but then there are other times where I've got to be doing. And so, when things clear up, I get back into study mode, and then when things get tight, I spent some time studying. Now it's time to implement.
So you've been on the Hill. You pretty much have the landscape of it. You have that plan of maneuvering. Do you have that goal list of things, that checklist to say, hey, I want this. I'm looking at this. How do we do this? Give us, without really getting into it, but tell us a little bit about that, because it's not even just I want people to have an aha moment, especially when we have people who are in leadership, who are dreamers, who believe in something greater than themselves. When you're listening, I'm hoping from what you're telling us, it's that aha moment, that plan.
Yeah. So that's I love these questions, George. So for me, there's a theory called the 80-20 theory, right? 80% of outcomes are going to come from 20% of the work. Your job is to figure out what's that 20% that I can do that's going to make 80% of the difference, rather than doing 80% of the work to make 20% difference, right? So for us, if we want respect in D.C., in Congress, and we don't have a vote, well, we've got to find some substitute. So my 80-20 there is I'm going to work to get on the Appropriations Committee, because short of having a vote on the House floor, if I control the money, we're going to have a little bit of leverage for D.C. And so one of my goals within my first few terms in Congress is to get on the Appropriations Committee. The other thing I'm doing right now is standing up a leadership pack and a citywide deployment model, so that we go into other states and other congressional districts and impact the outcome of those elections. So again, if we don't have a vote and these folks on the Hill want to bully us, well, we're gonna come back. We're gonna go to where you are. We're gonna talk to your voters. And so standing up this operation for DC residents, developing a strategy to get onto the Appropriations Committee, those are some of the high-level things I'm working on now.
Do you believe, as people of color, because I'm older, back in the day, I'm born 1962, so the late 60s, 70s, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. That whole era, we worked as a team. We were black. If you were in California or if you were in Rhode Island and you were black and you were in office, you pretty much teamed together. How can I help you?
Yeah.
I want to see that come back.
Yeah.
Is that something that what's your vision about that? We're all here together for a cause that's going to help us all.
Yeah. So we have been, in that sense, a victim of our own success. It's easier to band together, or it makes more sense when it's only a few of you. But then when you get a good number of members of Congress and people start going their own directions. But what I want people to recognize is what's happening in front of us. So on the 4th of July, I'm driving to a neighborhood parade in Eastern Market. And as I'm driving past Union Station, I look out the window and I see a ton of white men dressed in Army fatigues, faces covered, and lined up like troops. And I think to myself, if they were black, it wouldn't look like that. There was not a law enforcement officer anywhere near them. If they were black, there would have been helicopters, SWAT teams, like, what y'all gonna do next? And people have to understand, like, the racism right now is out loud. It's in front of your face. And so we have got to pull together. It is so important. And that's something I hope I can do both in our city and in Congress.
It's a scary time.
It is.
I'm a history major, and history in its darkest time is repeating itself, right? And what can we do on a global level, like with you, the council members, to ban, to at least get the information?
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting the information about what to do to combat it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we need some people that are decision makers to give us the information to tell us just how bad it is.
Yeah. Well, first you need the right decision makers, because folks out here are thinking like, if a bear attacks you, you're supposed to stay still, play dead, right? Bears are scavengers. We are dealing with predators, right? You stay still, a lion is going to eat your butt up, right? That's what we're dealing with. But we got too many leaders thinking we're dealing with scavengers. We're dealing with predators. And so we have got to fight back or we are done. And I need leaders to understand that. Stop believing that if you're just quiet and stand still, that this storm is going to pass. It ain't going to pass. And I don't know how many times you got to see the story to know it ain't going to pass.
It's not going to pass. So it's going to kill you.
It will. And we have got to push back. We have got to fight back in the right direction. And I need our folks, the folks on the right side or who want to be on the right side, to recognize that.
It sounds like it's divine for you at this time. We would say in church, as such a time as this, that there are leaders that are, and it's not disparaging old leaders or anything, but sometimes we have to have somebody that says, this is in my gut, and I will die trying. Yeah. Do you understand? Like, we're back in that era now.
That's right.
Like, this is, I don't see any other way.
Yeah, that's right.
What's that feeling like for you to know every day that something in your belly spoke to you and spoke to your family to support you, your father, people around you, to say, this you're not running, this is a fight. Make no mistake, this is a fight. For anybody that's getting into leadership in this country right now.
Right now, yes.
It's a fight.
Yeah.
So what is it that is giving you that incentive to say, okay, I've done what I can do here. Yeah. I got to go to this next level. Yeah. And it's going to get hard. Yeah. And it's going to get rough. Yeah. So what is it? Talk to us.
It is enough experience in life, George, going into things that I felt I wasn't ready for and seeing myself come out the other side. And so, at this point, I have a ton of faith. But what is important I think one of the most important parts of my story are the failures, right? When I was growing up, I failed most grades, failed more grades than I passed. There were people who didn't expect me to go to college, didn't expect me to make a thing out of my life. And when I left my job in Norton's office to run for local office, people thought I was crazy. And I halfway was, right? Because I wasn't a household name. Nobody knew who I was. But I've seen this story play out. And so it's important for folks to understand the story of Gideon, the story of Daniel, the story of David and Goliath, right? God doesn't call the prepared. He prepares the called. And so, if you got leadership in your gut, no matter what it is, if it's in government, civics, business, you got to start taking the steps and then trust that if you do what you're supposed to do and you're moving in the right path, the rest of it is going to work out. So you got to do your part, but the rest of it is going to work out.
What I find is that I know for me, we did an episode of Neighborhood Favorites in my hometown of Atlantic City, and my mother brought out my report cards. Like, I looked at them, and to your point, all they said was average. He needs to stop talking. He needs to pay attention. He needs,
Yeah.
right? And if I'd have went by that, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you.
That's right.
At some point, something in self believed in me when nobody else did.
That's right.
Did you have that feeling?
That's 100% what it was. You know, of all the voices saying what I can't do, I looked up one day and I said, I'm not going to let these folks determine what I do or don't do. I'm going to determine it. And what I'm sure you learned, what I learned is once you set your mind on a goal and you work through that goal and you achieve it, then you realize you can do it. Then you set the next one. The next thing you know, nobody can convince you can't do it. So
you seem like a people person. I see on social media, you're in Ward 8, you're in Ward 7, you're at a picnic, what is the attractiveness to you about people? Like, I love talking to people.
Yeah.
What is it about you meeting and intermingling and not afraid to let your thing, let it down?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, that took some work because I'm not as social as it might seem, right? I'm a little shy naturally, and I'm a little bit of an ambivert. I love being at home. I love being by myself, but I love being in community. You know, when I'm at Players Lounge or Goodman League or visiting a church.
Did you sing at Players Lounge?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah,
not well, but I sang.
Well, but you sang.
Yeah, and if I go, I'm going to participate.
Okay.
Right? And I just love being in community, being around people, and so it's just something that I feel lucky to do.
What's the response? What are you getting back? Feedback from people when you're visiting them. Tell us some of those feedback stories.
People are usually grateful that you are in their space. Like too often, politicians say, "I'm going to do this thing, and I want you to come to my thing." I want to go to your thing, right? Your thing also looks a lot of fun, right? I'm not intimidated. I'm not scared. I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy it. And I think people appreciate that. You know, they want to know if you can meet them where they are. And that matters to people.
Is that old school? So I'm from New Jersey, but I've been here for like 30 years, my adult life, right? And there's something about homegrown that's not going to change.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, you basically describe going to the party.
Yeah.
Hey, we cooking some chicken.
That's right.
Potato salad.
Yep.
You come on by, get you a plate.
Bring something, don't bring something. Yep.
Get a plate.
That's right.
Are you getting that feeling? Are people yearning for a bit of that? How? Because this is pretty much a southern city. It was when I was coming up. We would visit and come down. Are you feeling that? Like people who've been here, even people who have moved here. There's something welcoming about Washington.
It is. Washingtonians are warm and wonderful people. And I think there was a long stretch of time where gentrification and displacement was on everybody's mind. And now I think people are seeing in a bigger way these glimmers of what DC used to feel like, and they are remembering it and they're loving it. I went to last week in a concert at the Carter Barron. Oh my God, I hadn't been there in decades, right? And it just brought me back. And I asked people, who is here for the first time? And then I asked, who's been to concerts here before? And people just lost it, because
Shaka Khan.
Oh my God, Shaka Khan. My dad went to his first concert, the OJs, right?
OJs,
Carter Barron.
Carter Barron.
But it's, it feels like Georgia Avenue Day. It feels like Carnival. And I think people are realizing those things aren't dead. We just kind of have to revive them. Yeah.
What do you do for you? Outside of this, to nurture yourself, to nurture your spirit, like just you.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, one is being consciously being with family. I'm very lucky to have my wife and girls, and so sometimes I just need to enjoy that space with them. I'm pretty disciplined. I work out in the mornings. I meditate most mornings, and when I can, I go for a long walk with a cigar. I smoke a cigar for me. That's what I do for me.
Wow. And are you an avid reader? Do you?
Yeah. So I read a lot. What I now have to find ways to multitask. So, and I highly recommend this. When I work out in the morning, I'm listening to a book, and I love it. I love it more than listening to music, you know. So I'm lifting weights and I'm listening to some book on leadership or history or past president. But I love it. It adds a lot to my life.
As we wind down, and next time, I want you to bring your wife.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
She's more fun. She's a lot of fun.
And sit down and just chat. What is it that you would like to leave with our listeners? Someone who's thinking, you know, I think I want to get involved in community. I don't like what's going on. I want to be more than just a voter.
Yes.
What advice would you give that listener?
It is time for you, right? Even if you're just wondering. So yesterday, we just launched Defend DC, which is an initiative to bring organizations, businesses, elected officials, everyday people together. We're going into other states to help decide who's in Congress. That is a big deal. That is our step towards statehood. That's how we protect ourselves, our family, democracy. So join in with us. We are hard to find. It's a Defend DC initiative. Get involved. Outside of that, get involved in your local civic association, run for ANC, volunteer on a campaign, but do something. And just remember, when you decide to do it, nobody feels ready when they do it. So don't let that stop you.
How can our listeners reach out to you if they want to talk to you or come to a campaign event or just get advice? How can we reach you?
Yeah, joinrobertwhite.com. You can send a note. You can connect with me there, or look me up on social media, RobertWhite_DC.
I love it. I love it. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to come in. Oh, one more question before you go. What's your fashion style? What's your personal? What is it that about you? You always seem very well groomed, very nice. Your clothes fit.
Yeah.
Have you always been like that? What is it about you to know that you want to look and feel good?
That's a great question. So I grew up, all my clothes came from the thrift store growing up, and my dad's did too. But he always looked very put together, and I liked that as a kid. As I got older and people were counting me out, what I realized is I can't afford any knocks against me. So I said, nobody's ever going to be able to say I don't look the part. And so my clothing is in many ways my armor. But now, if folks can't see, you can see, I have on Jordans with my suit right now because now I'm established enough that folks can't take anything away from me because I put on some Jordans. So my fashion is evolving in a very subtle way. It kind of reflects where I am in life.
Ever since I've seen you, you've been dapper.
Thank you.
And they can see it because this is on YouTube.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Councilmember Robert White, for coming on and enlightening us. I want you to come back again. And remember, thanks for tuning in to Inside Style. I'm your host, George Worrell. And remember, real style starts with being comfortable in your own skin. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Inside Style with style expert George Worrell. For more information, visit georgeworrellstyle.com or dcradio.gov.